right, we're now in the second half of October, and time is not going to slow down at all for high school seniors getting ready to apply to colleges, especially if they're going for early decision at their top choice. We are here to get your house in order, and with us to help is college consultant James Maroney from First Choice College Placement in Milford. Great to have you back with us.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks for having me here.
Kind of a busy time of year for you?
Oh, yes, it's been very busy at this time of year.
Well, I guess we need to start at the beginning. If students maybe have done one or two of these things or haven't done any at all, the first thing they need to do is go visit a campus.
Right. This is a great time for the seniors to go out and visit. Hopefully they have already visited, and maybe they're doing a second visit to narrow down and make their final selections. But a lot of colleges had run open houses. Columbus Day weekend is a big weekend for open houses, and then over the next couple of weekends, a lot of colleges will even run Sunday visitations.
You know, I had my son over at Quinnipiac for a open house a few weeks ago, and it was so many people. I'm wondering, do you really benefit by going to an open house, or should you just go on a regular weekend when they have information sessions and tours?
I think you're probably better off doing maybe a little of both, in that if you hit an open house, a lot of colleges will track all your contacts with the school, and so that you can sign in and they look at demonstrated interest. But you're right. You're going to find more information if you go by yourself, and they're putting on their best front for an open house. The campus is going to be immaculate. Everyone's going to be very friendly to show you around, but you want to get out there on your own at some point and go, have a meal in the cafeteria, see what the students are like, what are they talking about, and go through the library if you get a chance to sit in on a class. When you go visit a campus, what are the things you should be looking at? Well, one of the things is, if you're from out of state, you want to look around, look at the posters. When are the events being held on campus? If they're being held all on Wednesdays and Thursdays, then maybe it's a suitcase campus. Maybe they don't have anything on the weekend because all the students go home on the weekend. And if you're from far away, you want to know there's going to be other people there with you on the weekends. You want to see what's of interest to the students on the campus. Is it a very politically aware campus? Is it are there only advertising parties, or are there cultural events? One thing coming up at a lot of colleges right now is the deadline for early decision. And this is a binding contract that students would have with the school if they get accepted. Correct. Early decision is binding. Early action is non-binding. You can't choose if you apply early decision or early action. The school offers one of those programs. They offer either early decision or early action. Some do offer both. Early action, what compared to early decision? What is it? Early action, you find out early, you apply early, you find out early, but you're not bound to go to the school. So you get all the benefits, but none of the drawbacks. All right. Now, what are the things that students need to be looking at, getting their things together if they're going early decision? Is there extra that they need to do, or do the chances improve of them getting into a school if they go early decision? The chances definitely improve if you apply early decision. Some of the top schools, some of the Ivy League schools, take 40% of their class from the early decision pool. And so if you're looking at it from a purely numbers standpoint, if you're applying regular, they're only 60% of the seats. But some of the Ivy League schools, Princeton, Harvard, for example, are dropping early decision now. They say it doesn't put all the students from economic differences in on an even playing field. What do you think of the move that they're doing on that? I mean, that's exactly why they're doing, like we said, if you apply early decision, a lot of people, there is an advantage. A study had shown that it improved your chance of being accepted the same as if you added over 100 points to your SAT score. And it does put economically disadvantaged people or people with at a disadvantage, and the reason is that they can't compete financial aid packages. If you're applying early decision, it's binding and you have to go to that school. If financial aid is important, you can't do that. If you're from a school with poor advising, you don't know to do that. And that's why Harvard initially made the decision to do away with early decision. Princeton has followed, and I believe University of Delaware also has done away with their early admissions policies, and they're going to look at it for a couple of years. Now, the thing about early decision, where you're talking about financial aid, you have less of a chance of getting a good financial aid package if you go early decision, generally speaking. Well, you just can't compete it. You can't compare it with another school. Gotcha. And so a lot of schools have said they will preferentially package you if you apply early, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't have received more money from another school. Okay. And so you can't compete those packages. Next on our list is get your application together.
That's kind of key.
Right, and right now the last thing that the students really have under their control, and the only thing they have in their hands right now is writing the essay. They've already earned the grades, they've asked for the letters of recommendation, and they have their SAT scores. They can't change any of those things, and so they should really be working on their admissions essay right now.
What are the schools looking for in an essay?
It depends on the level of the school. The most competitive schools are looking at both the content and the form of the essay. And they want to see your passion. You know, what makes you different, and they want you to shine in a way. They say shine your admissions hook. Why are we going to accept you? Yale is expecting 23,000 applications this year. They're going to accept 1,900 students. Why should we fish you out of that pool?
And they're really going to read all those essays?
Yeah, so they employ some, I mean, they have an admissions staff, and then they have outside admissions readers. And I think every application will be read twice. And at some of the schools, the dean of admissions will then go and reread every file.
What about sending something extra along with your application? Perhaps if you're very good with poetry, and of course I'm talking with my son here about my son, sending some of the poems along, or if you're a great creative writer, or you're a journalism student and you've written for the school paper and you've won some awards with your articles.
Yes, I would definitely recommend that you do that. And it goes towards proving your admissions hook and demonstrating your talent. If you're a singer, send a CD. Even if you're not applying to go into the music department, usually what they'll do is they'll send that off to their faculty and say, is this a kid we want? Does this student have talent? So if even if you're not applying to an art major, but art has been your passion, maybe put together a portfolio to send along to the school.
So while you think this is kind of an assembly line process because so many kids are applying for only so many spots, the schools are looking very closely at each application.
Right, and they're looking to craft a class, and so they're looking for not necessarily well-rounded students, they want a well-rounded class, and so by verifying your talent, by if it's poetry, if it's music, if it's art, that helps them to bring in someone different.
All right, here's your mid-October checklist, kids. Visit the campuses. If you're going to go early decision, make your choice now because the deadline's coming up. Get that essay together and the rest of the application, and don't forget to add extra information which could put you over the top. Get you into your first choice. And for more on James and First Choice College Placement, the website is firstchoicecollege.com, and you can find a link to it on news12.com. Great to have you back.
Thank you very much,
We'll have
Eric.
you back in a couple months. We'll talk about financial aid and all that stuff.
Great, I look forward to it.
Very good. Thanks, James. And we will be back in a moment. We'll tell you how new affordable homes are rebuilding the Gulf Coast and how it's inspiring architects. But first, a look at some educational events taking place